All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. The futures are closed right now, but the market may have had a good weekend too. Starting from Friday evening, there was a lot of good news, and the first one was a chip exemption that China would qualify for. Lutnick said it is temporary and there's more to come, but generally that was seen as good news. We heard that Japan will not be using their treasury in any tariff negotiations, and then we even heard about UK stopping some imports as well. Generally, it was a lot of positive trade developments. If you saw what happened last week, it was literally one of the biggest days in history. Then we gave back 7% of it, only to come right back up. And then Friday, even though the consumer sentiment came in, I think it was at like 6.7. It's something ridiculous. Where is this chart? Yeah, man. So, yeah, this is going back even to 1985. A very, very wild set of data, but despite that, we actually held the rally. And now these rumors, there's still a lot of big overhang we got to talk about, but you had some good things over the weekend. Now we're going to kick off earnings. You get a little bit of data in Powell, and then we'll see whether or not there has been some permanent damage done. So I got the plays, the keys, all that good stuff. What I need from you, a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/the stock market. And make sure you go to this channel, because if you don't see a watch list posted during the week on this channel right now that I'm on, it's going to be on this channel, youtube.com/the stock market. So hopefully we see you there, baby, but run it.
Working to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel less a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it.
Right off the bat, like I said, the futures are closed, so we don't know how the market's going to take all this weekend news. It should be positive, but even so, the big question you're going to be hearing this week is whether or not the damage is already done. Don't forget, last week, we really did have a semblance of a pivot. You had Donald Trump walk back the extreme bearishness. We were talking about the bond market. That kind of bottomed out. It's still going to be a little questionable. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but when it's all said and done, you had a little bit of pivot. You held up the rally even over the weekend. This weekend news, it plays in line with walking back some of the aggressive trade news. So this is all having to do with the pivot, but no matter what has happened, even what you saw by going down 7% the next day, every time there is good information or good news that comes out, everybody debates it and questions it, and they either say, well, you got to watch the next set of data. No, you got to look ahead of that. No, it's outdated. It doesn't matter. Or they'll say, yeah, well, even though it's good, the damage has already been done. And I say that because I could kind of agree to a certain extent, because do I know if this is peak fear? I would like to say it is, but we really do not know. And you did have good data, CPI, non-farms, the consumer sentiment on Friday. That was bad, and the market did not react like it did the three other times this year. But the point is, when you take all of this stuff and add it together, every single time something good has happened, the market has been very hesitant because you are debating whether or not the damage has already been done. Yeah, even if Trump walks back things, are you still going to have to deal with this uncertainty for a long time? Or will there be, you can't return the trade relations? I don't think you ruined all of trade relations. Again, we have a nice American history if you should go watch the econ lessons. But when it's all said and done, I do think these next couple of weeks, you're going to be going back and forth. If you start hearing good news and you notice we're still volatile, it will be because you are still debating this. We'll find out if the market is in tantrum mode, but why does it shift from tantrum mode to this question now? Because the information is shifting. The trade policy is still aggressive on the average rate, but we've walked it back. There's 90-day delays. Now this exemption, it opens up the door for cooling things down with China. And again, it offers an exemption and another set of delays. So that stuff's starting to change. Even like we talked about, the data is getting better. The only thing that's soft, the consumer sentiment, that's not getting better, but the hard data is. So now you're going to be swinging back and forth between tantrum or, well, okay, even though we acknowledge this, what kind of lasting damage has it left? So we'll see how that plays out this week. I could be wrong about this, but I think this is what we have already heard a lot of from Wednesday. And now this week, it's a little bit calmer, but you should still be in the middle of peak volatility. So that's key number one. And now coming into key number two, this is a very interesting one because we just were looking at the depths of dumping. You went down 15% in 3 days. Things were looking very dour. And then all of a sudden, we got this trade deal in one of the biggest days in history. Now, here's the funny statistic is that you technically did not hit a bear market. Even though I was telling you, yeah, we're kind of in a bear market, I guess we went down 18.9%. So a bear market is 20%. We did have a correction, but you did not hit a bear market. And why is this interesting? And why am I showing you this? Because on Friday or Thursday, the watch list, we were talking about this looking like 2018. And I was saying, watch out for that death blow or the chop leading to the death blow. That's not a good thing. But even in 2018, the bottom, top to bottom, and where it bottomed out, it was 19.8, kind of around what we're doing. So you didn't fully slip into a bear market just yet. There was a few times in history where you have done this, and now that's kind of the big question moving forward. That's why, depending on how some of the earnings and other things play over the next couple of weeks, sadly, I do think whether or not we find out if there's more to come, I think the real answer comes in 2 months. We've been talking about June, July. That's when things should develop and you'll have a better idea with everything from policy to the economy. But for now, we're hanging at that 20%. And the way I'm looking at it, it's either you get the death blow, this chop finally just leads to a 20-25% decline, and then we're able to bottom out. Maybe it goes down lower, or we keep holding up this bounce, and then in a couple of months we deal with more volatility, or this goes into the rearview mirror. We'll see what happens. Either way, nobody knows what's going to happen. I would diversify. I would definitely not be certain. Be humble. Anybody on the Fed listening, remember that Hubert's humble. We like that word for a little bit. So other than that, though, it should be another exciting week. And I don't know if you could really top these last couple ones, man, because it was crazy. But now the final key, what you got to be looking for. So we did get this Friday night exemption details. This is important because, one, it opens up the door for China and to cool things down. They said it was a good step, but they kind of threw a little bit of shade. But the real big thing is that it is now defining the trade off-ramps a lot more clearly. It's actually the first time now that you know what the administration is considering, what a semiconductor is. So it's clearing up a lot of things, and it's making it easier to understand. And borderline, it's just walking back this aggressive trade policy. So Trump said he's going to give an update tomorrow. We'll find out, and that'll probably be how we trade and what we wait for tomorrow. And other than that, you will be getting the retail sales, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then we do have a speech from Jerome Powell. Those should be your main economic events. Other than that, we kick off earnings season, and then we see where this volatility takes us. But now, let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, I got a couple of different plays. I actually like these plays for this week, but this first one, it's dependent on the weather. And what I mean is like real big volatility. Do we get craziness? Are the premiums weird? I mean, even then, this is something I would tell all of you to be on the lookout for, is stop and go. The last 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, was a massive movement. And Friday, even though it was the consumer sentiment, it was much smaller and much slower. That alone could change the trading dynamic. So we're in peak volatility. We got a couple of updates. We'll see how the market takes it this week. And now we are going to be getting the start of earnings. We had the banks last week. I think Netflix, Tesla, pre-earnings, post-earnings, these are going to be getting a lot of attention. And like I'm saying, as long as the premiums aren't messed up from volatility, I'm down to play it. Otherwise, if it's too expensive, it moves too early, too quick, we might be spectators. So we'll see what happens, but definitely you will be hearing about these two names a lot in the next couple of weeks. But that is play number one. Then play number two, Apple and NVDA. So they are seemingly the top beneficiaries from this chip exemption over the weekend. Everybody's saying Apple is loving this and NVIDIA. You even heard the news about Apple moving airplane airloads worth of iPhones. So this is good news for them. Again, NVIDIA benefits as well. We'll see. And Mag 7 has been lagging the most out of everything. So if this does get a pickup and that good news holds on Monday, I definitely think these guys will get activity. And whenever Trump makes his announcement, see if there's any company-specific ones that will be a good driver. So that is play number two. And then finally, I like this play, and I just want to remind you not to forget. But on Friday, there was a bunch of upgrades on a lot of defense names. And HII, they are defense. They build ships. Trump has been talking about it. You've even been hearing the Europeans talk about defense and all that, even though there's been back and forth about whether or not they're using America or not. But point is, there's still a lot of talk here, and some of these names are starting to break out. HII, they're like in that in-between zone from their last earnings. I even think like LMT, RTX. A couple of these other names are moving too, so watch out for it this week, especially if we get any weird stop and go, depending on how much or how much less volatile it really is. These are going to be some industries that'll kind of be doing their own things. Add staples to that list as well, and then we will see where it takes us. But other than that, I got a couple of plays. I'm still in some apples. I did make a play on Intel. I don't know if I made them free. They went up on Friday. Got some Nike, and really just going to be playing the tariff headlines. Have not added to the long term yet. I am very, very tempted. We were trying to start that ETF account last week, but when it's all said and done here, like I'm saying, June, July, I think we'll know a lot. But now, before you know it, we're going to get a little bit more data, see if there is permanent damage or not, get through the earnings, and then before you know it, man, you're halfway done with this year, and then it's summer, and that's why you want to make sure you have a long term. But Chad, that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure Hydra Healthy ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. And I need you to remember, baby, you're a human. You're special. You have a special set of skills, and you are rare on this spinning planet. And with all that being said, the only thing that's going to clap you in this environment is not planning, not getting prepared, and being too certain. So, woosah, my brother. You get another opportunity. Stare into the pen. Yeah, it's gone. That's it. So drink that water. Stay hydrated, healthy, all that good stuff. I'll see you in the morning. And, or not.